So let's start off strong with some of my favorite Transformers as a kid, and that's the Insecticons. First up, we have Bombshell here, and like the other two as well, the main reason I love these guys was just the color scheme was just insane. The purple and black and yellow, the chrome, the translucent bit up here, these guys just looked awesome. And they somehow popped off the store shelves, and I really had to have them. And, you know, pretty easy transformation for most of these guys. Here's Bombshell. Just so cool. I love them so much. Next up, we have, I believe it's Kickback, right? Which is pretty much a grasshopper. And by the way, these are all going to be in not necessarily properly transformed. I yanked these off the shelves to do this video, and so bear with me. If something's wrong, feel free to tell me in the comments, because I always love the engagement. But anyway, another favorite of mine, the Insecticon Kickback. Pretty easy transformation. We don't have to go through all these transformations, but if they're quick and easy, that can be fun. So basic idea, I think the arm kind of swings around, right? Somehow we can make the arms. But anyway, really cool dude. And the final one being Shrapnel. And just setting up for this video, I was going to start with Shrapnel, but then I had a malfunction where his leg will no longer close all the way up, so we'll have to mess with that a bit. But anyway, a cool transformation. The way the antenna just peel away to show the head. He's got a little blaster there, kind of ready to go on his right hand. Just love these guys. So Insecticons, some of my favorites, because they were unique, because they were different, and because of this just awesome color scheme. Love these guys. So next up, we have the Constructicons, another favorite of mine. We'll start off here with Mixmaster. Again, love these color schemes. The sort of greenish yellow and purple just really pops. Simple transformations. Let's see if I can remember reaching around the phone to do this, but I mean, very much GoBot style basic transformations, but really cool. And I don't actually remember if I had all of the Constructicons back in the day to form Devastator, but I do now and can form Devastator. Don't think we'll do it for this video, but anyway, definitely did have them. Up next, Scavenger, which is the Excavator, also very cool. Again, basic transformation, head pops up, arms pop out. There's Scavenger. Love that guy. Let's keep this order going. Next up, we've got Long Haul, the Bulldozer. Very cool. Arms pop out. Let's see, the legs come down, kind of pull down and bend them up for the feet, right? And pop that up for his chest. Pretty cool. A little bit more of a complex transformation. Pretty cool. None of these, well, some of these guys stand better than others these days. I'm not sure if he will. Yeah, he does. A little bit out of frame there, but anyway. Like this guy, that's a Long Haul. Next up, we have Did we just do these on Scavenger, right? No, wait, hold up. This isn't Scavenger. Scrapper. Here we have Scrapper. Very cool. It's kind of hard to keep describing these guys, but the coolest part about the Constructicons were, of course, forming Devastator. I have all the parts to put Devastator together, and I believe I've done that in the past. If I do, I'll throw up a photo, but it's pretty easy enough to find the original Devastator online. This is a collection video, and I don't want it to be crazy long, so we're just going to kind of move through them fairly quickly. Next up, we have Hook, who is obviously the Crane. This was probably, I mean, he was probably my favorite back in the day because he had sort of the extra added ability of the crane arm going up and down. Still a pretty basic transformation. Head up, pull the arms out, flip the feet around. Not too much to him, but I really like Crane quite a bit. And finally, we have, whoops, Long Haul. Big beefy boy. It's fun to look at these guys and think about their Revenge of the Fallen counterparts and what they turned into. And I have to say, for me personally, when I saw Devastator and Revenge of the Fallen, I was hyped, and I thought he looked really cool. But there is something to say for the original guy, the original Devastator, and the Constructicons, particularly the color scheme. I mean, they all were actually the appropriate colors for the most part of construction trucks back in the day. And yeah, they're awesome. So there's the Constructicons. So now we'll move on to some of the mini vehicles. And again, these also hold a special place in my heart for a lot of different reasons. But the first one, Cliff Jumper here, the yellow variation, I actually own for a kind of a stupid reason. I was one of the videos I was doing recently, I wanted to pick up a G1 Bumblebee, and on eBay I thought that's what I was buying, but in fact I was buying a G1 Cliff Jumper. Even on the description they called it Bumblebee, but you know, you can actually tell it's not Bumblebee if you look close enough at him. But I sort of bought it too quickly and didn't think about it, so instead I got a little Cliff Jumper here, which is fine, you know, no hate on Cliff Jumper, he's awesome, but I was planning to get Bumblebee. But anyway, we have Cliff Jumper, and that's okay, he's awesome. Now I say I love these mini vehicles mostly because these are the guys that I could actually sneak to school with me when I was a kid. They fit in your pocket, and in class when you were bored you could kind of duck down behind the kid in front of you and pull it out of your pocket and sit and sort of play on the desk with it. Here is Seaspray, and I absolutely loved him when I was a kid. He's one I very much remember owning and playing with. And he has a pretty interesting storyline in the second series. I made a whole short about it where he falls in love for a humanoid alien on another planet. And it's, you know, it's a little creepy and weird, but also kind of awesome. As a kid, I didn't care. It was just cool. So Seaspray I love, and I absolutely love the Hunt for Decepticons version of him as well. I made a video on that. It's one of the most underrated Transformers as far as I'm concerned. It's absolutely amazing. But I also partly love him for the nostalgia of how much I loved Seaspray back in the day too as a kid. So Seaspray is awesome. Here's another one I loved as a kid and absolutely remember having. And that is Wheelie. Now my Wheelie is missing a bit here, which is probably around. It's probably in a box or something. But another one, just the vibrant colors. This absolutely popped off a shelf. As a kid, I remember I would even draw him because he was pretty easy to draw. So I remember kind of sketching him out in school or at home when I was really bored. Let's see, the legs pop down, arms out. I actually think he just comes down like that. Yeah, he is freaky looking, man. This is just the weirdest looking, gotta be one of the weirdest G1 bots for his transformation. This is insane and kind of nightmare fuel. But let's look at that head sculpt if we can get a nice macro on that. But what a weird embed. It's like the face is pushing through the metal. It's just absolutely frightening. It's a good thing there's normally a cover for that. But regardless, I love Wheelie, and I'm glad to own him again. This is not the original one I owned. There are very few from my childhood that I still have. So, like I said, I had to recreate those using that one photo. And then sort of from memory, I picked up other ones that I know I had as a kid. But that's Wheelie. Up next, we have Brawn. Another just absolutely cool vehicle. And of course, R.I.P. Brawn. He died a heroic death when Megatron attacked the shuttle in the '86 movie and traumatized so many of us. But his original figure was also a mini bot like this. Let's see. Let's get his arms. I think, do these just straight up become his arms, right? A lot of these, I gotta say, it's been a while since I transformed him. There's his arms hiding. I think we kind of pull them out a bit. I don't want to break these guys because they are 40 years old, but legs come down and the arms, we got to swing them around. I know some of you are just dying because I'm doing this wrong, but anyway, you get the gist. There's the arm. We're not going to do the other one. I don't want to break him, but G1 Brawn, rest in peace. He died heroically. Such a great figure and such a cool truck. Love this guy. And finally, for the mini bots, we have Swerve, the pickup truck with style. And now, he, I think, is 86, and I think a couple of them are actually 86. They were later ones. I think most of my, well, not that I owned him as a kid, but most of my interest and most of what I had as a kid was probably more 85, 86 bots. And so I picked him up recently, though, and not even remembering. I'm not even for sure if I had this as a kid, but I found him at a store and he was pretty cheap. And of course, you gotta love the design and the color on it. And so I picked up Swerve to kind of go with my other mini bots, and I like him quite a bit. So anyway, that's Swerve. Okay, now we're going to move on to the mid-size G1 Transformers I have, and we'll start here with Inferno, the fire truck that is just super cool. Love the red on this guy. The ladder extends quite a bit. That did back in the day, which is pretty awesome. This guy is just fun. Look at this ladder. This is insane. If we had Omega Supreme out, you could get right up to the top of his head with this guy. Inferno definitely had as a kid, loved playing with them. I didn't know if I was going to try and transform a lot of these. I mean, you know, they're G1, right? So they're not too complex. So we can kind of move through most of them fairly easily. Where's his head at? How do we get to his head? Oh, it's right up here, right? Bring this up, connect it in. There we go. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Inferno. There we go. Snap him in. There's Inferno, G1 Inferno, and people, I do not know whether these are like 84, 85, 86. You can tell me, and if you do, I appreciate it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not a collector in the strictest sense where I need to own everything of any specific line or whatever else. I really just buy the stuff that brings me joy with these. Oh yeah, he could shooty, and I think he had fist as well, and those are missing. That's the other thing. A lot of parts will be missing. I'm not as concerned with that. I buy the ones for the most part that I owned as a kid that I just wanted to unlock those memories, unlock that childhood a bit. The stickers, look at the stickers on these things. I miss getting to put the stickers on the toys. You get your new Transformer and you would have the little sheet of stickers and you could put them on yourself and you could kind of have fun with them if you wanted. But man, Inferno is just a great toy. Look at him now. Look at this guy. I like the details. I just made a short about how much I loved Astro Train, but Inferno's got to be moving up because he is just such a cool bot and vehicle mode. Absolutely love him. And yeah, I just look at this guy. Very cool. His head seems a little bit too high, especially with the space in here. Kind of freaks you out a little bit, but regardless, Inferno is awesome. Beefy boy, love him. And now we have a more recent pickup that I'm not going to probably transform. That's Perceptor here. He is, let's raise this up a bit. There we go. So I did definitely have Perceptor as a kid and really enjoyed him. So when we recently, man, I think it was in Savannah, Georgia. They have a pretty good retro game and toy store there. I found this guy for a good price because he is missing pieces and a little beaten up, and just had to pick him up. Again, just for the memory of it. He transforms into a microscope, of course, which is super cool. I'm not going to try to do that here right now because, you know, I just don't want to struggle through it. And I'm trying to keep this video to be a fairly short length. But again, with the stickers and the details, just really good. I get it. The G1 fans who are diehard, and you know, they're not defending just cheap, rickety old toys. These were, while the engineering wasn't there yet for the complex transformations and all that sort of stuff, a lot of these early on were built to last. And they did have good details, and some of them were beefy. In the early days, we had some die cast, and they kind of moved away from that a little bit, but they are good toys, and they do just, man, they just hit that nostalgia bone perfectly, and we really enjoyed these guys. So that's Perceptor, recent pickup, and another great one. Okay, next up we have a couple Seekers because they were jets and they were awesome, and what kid, boy or girl, didn't love freaking jets in the 80s? First one we have here is Ramjet, another fairly recent pickup. In fact, I think I bought him with Perceptor. Just these guys, almost dangerous, the nose cone on the end of this thing. I absolutely loved the Seekers when I was a kid, but I believe the only one I had was Starscream. And that's who we'll look at next because that's the other one I own. That's the first one I had to get. back in the day. Absolutely loved him. Now, the wings can just pull right off for the transformation. The feet come down, the arms you kind of push in, and the head will pop down when you do that. Pull them around, and the nose cone will reveal the head. And let's see, we kind of, how does it go? Like this, right? Bring it around, push the chest through, or do we go this way? Tuck it through, go this way. There we go. Then bring the head up, and we don't want to do that, right? So we'll put that back. And we got his arms down, and now you can take the wings, and I believe you can stick them on the arm. There, these, you know, you kind of. I've said before, dropped it. When people complain about how I've transformed something, it's your toy, man. Do whatever you want, right? So I like to put the wings right here on the side. And I'm not for sure if that's exactly how they're supposed to go, but it looks cool. But man, this guy is loose these days. But yeah, you can put the wings, I think there might be a different configuration for that. And again, you all can tell me what it is, but love the Seekers. Back in the day when you first got them, they were solid. If this was a solid tight toy, man, these guys were awesome. They were jets, and you could just all day just fly them around and make the noises. So cool. Anyway, that's Ramjet. And we'll just reach down here and we'll grab my Starscream. And look at this guy. Are you kidding me? The red, white, and blue and the gray metal, the giant, no question about it, Decepticon logos on the wings and on the nose cone here. This dude is just next level. The chrome finish, everything about him, so cool, so cool. Starscream is probably in my top 5 as a kid. Absolutely loved him. Probably one of the cooler toys you could own, in my opinion. If you weren't buying a bunch of G.I. Joes, because we all know they couldn't transform, so that's why they weren't as good. But they had some kick-ass vehicles, obviously, great jets and just everything. Ships, the USS Flag, don't even get me started. They had a lot of cool vehicles, but we had some as well when in the Transformers line, and the Seekers were absolutely top tier. Love this guy so much. Love my Starscream. No need to transform him, but anyway, that's him. Gorgeous. Love him. Starscream. Next up, we have the robot, the myth, the legend, Jazz, and my beat up old Jazz. And for a lot of these, by the way, I wouldn't have it any other way. Again, not a collector. If you're a collector, you want the cleanest, non-yellowed, beautiful version of this. And I totally get that. And thank you, by the way, for the job you're doing for preservation. It's absolutely fantastic. Mine, on the other hand, is pretty beat up in the car. And by the way, the last time I tried to get him back together, I was fidgeting with it and just couldn't get it sorted out. This guy is very tight, very old. And so even trying to transform him now makes me a bit nervous, but we're going to try and do it. This will come down, bring his head up, his chest will pop into place, grab his feet, bring him down. He's a little stubby guy, but these should pull out, and there we go. Fix his arm. There you have Jazz with probably an issue standing up. Oh, he's okay. So there we have G1 Jazz. Absolutely gorgeous back in the day. The racing stripes on top there, the headlight boobies, everything about him absolutely amazing. Love this guy so much. You kind of had, he's, you know, again, peak G1 Jazz. You got to have this guy. His feet are a little weird. It's basically just obviously the back half of the car, but hey, at least it gives him a base to stand up on for the most part, so that's great. Anyway, that's Jazz. Love him. Next up, I have one of my actual casualties, and that is Mirage. His Formula One race car back in the day. Again, if you were into cars, just looks so cool. Do we have that? Let's put that back a bit. There we go. So Mirage, another staple back in the day. He's all about speed. He's all about taking care of the Autobots and being first in line to fight, I guess. I don't know, but he was awesome. But of course, I have a problem with my Mirage that I think is fairly common. He's broken. This little bit here has snapped off. and so at some point we're gonna have to do some triage on this guy. Until then though, we can still, he's a parts former, so we can kind of stretch him up, aim this down. And I had to do this recently when I recreated that photo of the bots I had when I was a kid. There was a lot of balancing acts going on, and this was one of them where I had to get him standing. Oh, see, just had another part come off. Get that back on. We're not going to struggle with that right now, but anyway, I had to. This guy's going to need some work, but we can do it. Don't just throw them away because they're broken. There are fixes for these things, and I will get this guy. There's a way to fix that joint there, and I'll take care of that. But for the photo, I just had to kind of balance him like this to make it work. But anyway, I don't want another one. I want this guy. He's awesome. Mirage. We'll fix him. Don't worry about it. He'll be fine. Casualty number 2 would be my G1 Megatron. As a gun, as the P38, he still looks pretty cool. And we have all the attachments so you can build the full version, which we're not going to do here. But this is him in his gun mode, which was incredible. This is just, this thing now would get you arrested. This would get you shot if you were out in public with this. Do not take this to school. Do not take this anywhere. They don't make toys like this anymore. This would be all bright orange and cartoony. You just can't do it anymore. But back in the day, they did in the 80s. I mean, you know, it was definitely a different time. But the grip feels incredible. The trigger feels good. The chrome, everything about this thing in this mode, in his alt mode, is incredible. The transformation is another story. And as I said, this is one of my casualties. This bit has broken off. I actually have it taped on right now. And in fact, I'm probably just going to leave it. I'll pop up a photo if I remember, but you know what Megatron looks like. His transformation, his robot mode is absolutely terrible. Does that mean we all don't want an awesome modern version of exactly this, where they figure out how to make a good robot out of it? I think they've tried once or twice, but yeah, I'd love to see that again, and I hope someone, even a third party, does that at some point. But I've got all his attachments that we could put on and make him look, you know, make the big giant gun, but he wouldn't even fit in this camera anyway, so we're not going to worry about it. But regardless, G1 Megatron, you gotta own him. He is complete, but I do have to fix this part. Next, and certainly not least in any way, is another one of my favorites. Soundwave. This guy, man, I tell you, I just made a video saying Astro Train was my favorite G1 Transformer, but that's really hard to say when Soundwave exists. My guy now is a little wobbly. He's a little down in the back, same. And, you know, he's definitely seen better days. But again, just the gorgeous color scheme. He's, you know, the size of a micro cassette reporter, meant to look like a Walkman, but actually would fit real micro cassettes. And he's got the play forward and back buttons here, record and stop on his crotch. And the backpack, I believe, would hold his cannons, but also it simulates, you know, batteries you would put in your Walkman back in the day. Just an absolutely incredible toy. Now, if I do him just right, he will stand up okay. So that's cool. And of course, inside I have, and let's trigger some people, Laserbeak. Check it out, everybody. It's totally Laserbeak, and he is headless. And those of you screaming that that's not Laserbeak, LOL, put it in the comics. Oh my God. Put it in the comments and tell me who this actually is, but I call him Laserbeak. Now, he is headless, but that's because I have a couple of these, and there's a reason for it. When we get to my few boxed Transformers, you know, we'll explain that. But anyway, he had several little buddies that would fit inside here if you put them in just right, and I didn't. I just jammed them in there. But anyway, Soundwave, absolutely incredible. Wobbly now, but still, how can you not love this guy? They've had several reissues or, you know, 40th anniversary versions of him and whatever else that have done a great job, but nothing kind of beats the OG, right? So that's Soundwave, one of my absolute favorites. Speaking of triple changers, which we haven't really done yet because I'm realizing Astro Train is sitting over there on my desk from the short I made, but we'll talk about him in a second. We also have Blitzwing. He is a jet, he is a tank, he is awesome. Again with the stickers. Look at the stickers on this guy. Absolutely incredible. And the jet mode is just so cool. the color scheme, the brown, the tan, the gray, everything just pops on these guys. Everything looks incredible. Now, I haven't transformed him in a while, but since we've been doing it, we're going to give it a shot. I don't believe it's too complex, but we'll try to get him into tank mode now, and I believe we'll pop those down. We'll swing these around. Somehow we got to get rid of the nose cone. That goes in there. That slides around, and we have the top bit, which might have come loose, but I think that's by design. You can slip it on there, and there you go. Now we have our tank mode, which is just too cool. Look at this guy. Absolutely incredible. Love the tank mode almost as much, maybe more than the jet mode, but I don't know. They're both awesome. But then to switch to robot mode, I think we can probably leave that on. We've already got his head revealed there. Let's bring these down. Swing these up, I believe. Pull these down for his legs. Fins come down to make the feet. And how good have I done? Is this it? The arms, did they come out of here, right? Maybe? There's a good chance I'm not going to be able to get his arms out. I think they come down here. But anyway, so he would pop up like this. You've got his feet, and this either can pop off or the tank can kind of sit in the back there. But those snap into place, and then we get the arms out, and I don't know if... There we go. There we go. Okay, we'll slide the arms out. Get the fist out. Oh my God, look at those fists. Look at that. That can't be right. Is that accurate? Help me out, folks. Is that accurate? The robot mode is not the best. He's a little top heavy, but still looks awesome. And I've probably done something wrong. I'll pop up a picture here of what he's supposed to look like. But anyway, that's Triple Changer number 1. That's Blitzwing, and he's awesome. Right here is Astrotrain. This is absolutely one of my favorite G1s. It probably goes back and forth between this guy and Soundwave, and of course Optimus, but we'll get to him in a second. But this is G1 Astrotrain. This is my favorite mode as a locomotive. The purple and black, the glossiness of it all is just absolutely incredible. And then what I liked about him as much as Blitzwing is it was 3 toys in one. The Triple Changers were incredible. And to get him to the shuttle, we can just pop those around, pop the nose cone out of here, put these back down, put the wings down. Oh, I always gotta remember to put these back. Pop out the wings, and there you go. Now you have a space shuttle, RIP Challenger. Look at this guy with the boosters on the back. What always impressed me, I don't know, about the cartoon was the size of this guy. He was a normal robot size, but when he transformed, he could load up a handful of Decepticons to shoot off to the moon or wherever else they had to go to escape the Autobots. As a train or as a spaceship, a shuttle, he was able to transport several Decepticons. So that was an interesting size variation. But again, to get him to his robot form, we'll just tuck that away. The feet, you kind of break them apart and then you can pull them down. And these are a little loose, they don't necessarily stick. To reveal the head, you take the boosters off the back, slide it down, there's his head. And then you want to take the tail fin here, pull it down a little bit, and you can open it up to give him kind of a chest and kind of shift it down to where you'd like it to be. And then again, pop out his weak little arms. There we go. There we go. And there you have, you can fold these back if you want, but kind of like to leave them out. There's the robot form of Astrotrain. And I prefer him to Blitzwing as a robot. He stands pretty wobbly, but his legs are loose. So in this case, if you really pull him up tight, he'll stand up just fine. But anyway, that's Astrotrain. Pretty cool robot mode too, but the locomotive is the best for me. I absolutely love that. And like I said, this is absolutely top 2 or 3 for me. Okay, not last, and certainly not least, we have Optimus Prime. Absolutely, in Transformers world, the toy to own as a kid in the 80s, as far as I'm concerned. You can already see my guy is beaten up a little bit. Got a little bit broken off here. But again, I don't care. I like these toys being beaten up. I know they were played with well. I know people had fun with them. And it just gives them a little more character for me. Not a collector, a guy unlocking memories from the past with cool toys that he loved. That's what I am. So, to transform Optimus, it's like the basic, most classic transformation. I think probably one of the best, in my opinion. The way he transformed, the way you could do it in just a few easy steps. And the robot mode is just absolutely incredible. He's such a beast. It's just this. Am I wrong, or is this one of the very definition of Transformer? Like, this is the top tier transformation, a perfect truck into a perfect robot. Where is Fist? I don't know. They're in a box somewhere, and I'm not going to try and dig them up. But again, I do have them somewhere. Not going to worry about them right now. But otherwise, we're just talking about Optimus and how amazing he is. What an incredible toy he was. And this was always going to have to be in my collection because this was the one I most desired when I was a kid. Well, except for that guy back there, probably. But Optimus Prime is the GOAT. And of course, his trailer opens up and you can actually play and do cool things with it. You even have the little car here that would go back and push a button and pop out and shoot off of it, and all the colors, all the fun you could have with this thing, the different bots you could put in there. Let's see. Wheelie rides up. Maybe Wheelie's in here getting worked on, right? I don't know, but Optimus Prime is just one of the absolute greatest toys from the 80s. If you have a top 10 80s toys, this guy has to be in it. He just represents everything that was wonderful about G1, that was magical from our youth, and he's absolutely incredible. We're not ending the video with him, but he is certainly top tier, and absolutely love this guy. And I know I've said that 1,000 times. I should probably have a counter of every time I say I love this guy. But I wouldn't have these toys if I didn't love them, right? So, Optimus. So again, not being a collector, boxed toys are not a very big deal to me, but I had to have a few. One of those would be Soundwave in the box, which I have right here. Something about this box, something about, I just wanted the nostalgia of the boxes. And Soundwave was the first ever complete in box Transformer I purchased. Now, as you can see here, we've got Buzzsaw, yes kids, Buzzsaw, and Soundwave in the box, but this is oddly enough, this is the beaten up version of Soundwave that's missing the cover for the cassette player. So that's why I leave him in the box and I display the other one. But this is actually the Buzzsaw that has his head. So I should probably switch them out so I have the Buzzsaw with the head to keep in mind for display. Buzzsaw was orange, right? And Laserbeak red, Buzzsaw orange. Am I getting it right? Let me know in the comments. You guys are awesome. You tell me what's up. And of course in the G1, the transformations were so simple, they would just put them right on the outside of the box. Look at this. Boop, 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 boop. Awesome toy. That's absolutely incredible. Great pictures on the side. This 80s aesthetic with the grids and the gradient purple. Everything about it is just amazing. And this is just one of the most iconic backdrops ever for, any toy line ever. This was, if you were G1, you were buying toys, this image was everything. And of course here you have the stats for Buzzsaw and Soundwave here, and you would use a little decoder, which I do have, by the way, to see the stats for your particular character. That was awesome. The points you could save to send away, if you saved up enough of them, you could send them away and get special characters. It would take forever. You would mail these out with, say, 10 bucks and 30 points, and you could get a special character. If any of you ever did that and got a Transformer using the points, please put that in the comments. Let me know. Would love to hear about it. I only ever did that with Star Wars. I got an Emperor that way, and it felt like forever it took to get that guy. But yeah, so they had the cool stats in the box you need the decoder for, which seems like a good enough time to go back to my old childhood pencil case, where although a lot of my Transformers actually didn't remain and last with me, this did. And this pencil case has a lot of my original instruction manuals. So there's my original Optimus Prime, my Omega Supreme instructions, my instructions for kickback. These are all mine. Bombshell, Mirage, a second Optimus Prime, which I think this one of these obviously belongs to the one I purchased recently to put back in my collection. And then I have, because I wouldn't keep the boxes, I would cut the stats. That was clearly important for me. Oh wait, a few more manuals. We got Shockwave. I loved Shockwave, and I'm still looking for a good working Shock. I won't buy him unless he's working. Lights and sounds, so, and that's not cheap. So I'm still on the lookout for Shockwave because I absolutely loved him and I want a good working one. This is one that I'll eventually pay a little bit more money for so I can get a solid working or restored one. I just really want him to work. Inferno there, Ramjet. So you can see why I purchased all these, because I had them as a kid. And then this was the catalog, the awesome catalog where you could look and it would show you other things you could buy. A few more of those. But yeah, so I have some of the stats here from when I was a kid. Here is Bronze stats, Infernos, Mix Masters. I think there are probably a few more in there. But so this is all from my childhood, except for that one Rogue Prime manual. But here's the decoder that you would use so you could see the stats. You put that over there, and now you know, oh, look, his intelligence, Optimus's intelligence is pretty high. And oddly enough, his strength is only like above average, which is kind of insane. Speed, way down there. Optimus is very slow. Oh my God, why am I saying Optimus? Soundwave, you can see here, intelligence very high because of course Soundwave is intelligent. His strength fairly strong, speed very slow. He's not really going anywhere. He's not getting away from you. Rank is high, courage, all that kind of stuff. But that was a fun thing as a kid, to use these little red decoders to see their stats. So that was a fun little gimmick. Next up, you're probably wondering why no Autobots. Autobots are awesome. They're freaking dinosaurs. Well, I do have one. I have Sludge. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't have Sludge. I believe I actually had Grimlock. And I think I had Swoop as well. So someday I'll try to pick up those, but this, I have a friend who has a toy store that I was able to visit, and a friend from when we were kids who now has a toy store. Anyway, he had this Sludge in the box, and I just had to pick it up because he had a good price on it. And again, I wanted another Transformer in a box, and I'm not buying a lot of these, but for the nostalgia, I had to get him. Sludge is staying in there for now, but by the way, he did not have the inner packaging to hold Sludge. This is actually a third-party plastic bit specially designed for this. There are companies, or at least one, that if you have the box and you have the Transformer from G1, they have the plastic, clear plastic inserts you can put in the box to hold them appropriately. So I ordered that one to go in here so Sludge would sit like he did originally. So that part isn't original to the box, but everything else is. And again, there's his transformation, super simple. Look at this Kmart price tag. How nostalgic is that? $9.97 for this guy. That's never coming off. But anyway, so that's Sludge in the box. I think we only have a couple more boxed. And one of them would be, because of the magic of it for my youth, is Seaspray on card. And again, we have that Kmart sticker, which is by the way, I purchased this on eBay for that more than anything else, because I had a Kmart in town, and that's where I would go as a kid and stare at exactly this, racks of, because in toy stores today, we don't even have toy stores today, but you go to Target, you don't have a full rack or wall of toys. You have like a handful, right? Well, they lined. They had all of them in stock all the time when I was a kid. And I would just stare at these things on card. And, you know, at $3.57, I could probably convince my parents. We didn't have a lot of money, but to pick up one of these every now and then. So the nostalgia for that, I had to have one of these because I like the boxes, but these cards from when we were a kid, I had to pick up one of those as well. As you notice, they also have the hidden stats there. But, you know, you would need your decoder from someone else because they couldn't fit, obviously, one of the little decoder sheets inside these. So you would have to already have one. But anyway, that's Seaspray on card. Absolutely love them. Okay, so I think that leads us to what has been sitting behind us the whole time, and that, of course, is Omega Supreme. I think the lights are a little too bright for him, right? But let's see if we can bring him down a little bit. Too much reflection. But anyway, yes, this is a boxed Omega Supreme that I almost can't fit in the shot. Let's come back a little bit, reveal my desk. But this was a Christmas morning present for me, and I absolutely loved it. He is there in the box, and I suppose I'm going to have to take him out, and we can peek at it real quick. But yeah, so he did not survive my childhood, but a couple pieces did. Recently, a few years back, when I went back to my parents' house and went up in the attic, I found a couple bits of track and a couple of the yellow bits that connect to him in the attic that were the remnants of mine. So I actually have a few extra pieces for Omega Supreme because of that. This Omega Supreme was purchased at one of those giant antique malls a few years back. They had the fully boxed Omega Supreme, and I think it was like $100 or something. And I've been wanting an Omega Supreme anyway, and so I just had to pick it up. But yeah, let's see. So that's the front. There's the back. I mean, look at this poster. Look at Shockwave flying through the air, shooting people. Look at the Dinobots, and just all these great characters on here. This is absolutely insane. And there's Omega Supreme, the realistic Rocket, and he turns into a track and a robot. And yeah, this was a next level toy. I mean, this was closer to, but not nearly the same as like a USS Flag if you're a G.I. Joe fan. This is going to be so awkward in my setup here, but I'm doing it anyway. He came in this terrible styrofoam right here. There we go. And you can see his main part of his body here, which we can pull out. Can we see him? Yes. And so to build him, you have to put all the parts together, and I don't think we're necessarily going to do that today, but I will show a photo of Omega Supreme in both his modes so you can see. I don't want to make too big a mess of this, and again, I don't want this video to be too long, but this is my Omega Supreme. This is Stumpy Boy without all his parts put together, but I do have the whole thing in the box, which I think is a lot of fun. Okay, super quick bonus round because this was a G1 collection, but I have started collecting a few G2 Transformers. It was the 90s and I was in college and I'd stopped caring about toys, but looking back at them now, I just realized they were absolutely insane, trying to get a new market. And this was, I believe, the first time Megatron was a tank. This is the G2 Megatron as a tank, and it just looks absolutely insane with the green and the purple. This one, I think we can do a quick transformation of because it's not complicated. You slide this over and look at that, Megatron. Yes. And then you can open these bits to pop out his, swing his legs around. There we go. Close him up, snap him into place. Look at that, he's just huge, this guy. And he makes all sorts of wonderful noises. There we go, and I think you can, the arms can kind of, there's a way to, there we go, to swivel them around a little bit, but anyway, still not great with articulation, but that is G2 Megatron, and he's just absolutely crazy. And he makes fun noises, which they were doing a lot more of in Generation 2. So that's why I picked him up. And look, by the way, his stubby little feet. Give me a break. Look at this. Really? That's his feet? Come on. But so yeah, I picked him up, and then there were the Combat Heroes. This is the Combat Heroes Megatron. Now this guy also has like some, I don't know if they're, I believe they're custom G.I. Joe stickers to go with it. So it's not the original stickers that came with it, but this was the Combat Heroes G2 Megatron. I'm trying to see where my Combat Heroes Optimus Prime has gone to. In the meantime, we do also just have this G2 Prime, which is incredible as well. I mean, so much for robots in disguise. He's got his name right here on the back of the truck. This guy's absolutely insane. The truck also turns into a base and transforms. But again, we're not talking G2, we're talking G1. But I don't know where my Combat Heroes Optimus Prime has gone to, but anyway, this was a G1 video, not a G2, but I thought as a little bonus we would show off some of these guys. Anyway, thank you so much for checking this out. Just wanted to show off my G1 collection to let you know I'm not just a Bayverse guy. I love the new stuff because of the connection I have to it with my kids, but G1 is where my heart is, and so I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. Well, I hope it was quick, showing off the G1 Transformers, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Here he is. Here's Combat Heroes Optimus Prime. And by the way, when you transform him, again, name right on his chest. Absolutely hilarious. But yeah, they would shoot things. This little squishy bit, you put a little rocket on there and you smash it down and they would shoot at each other. Isn't that fun? G2 Optimus Prime.